Happy on the beat.
Tell me what you on, huh, safuu?
going on, everybody? Good to see you are all here. Already 50 people in the room. Um, let me bring on Greek and Nacho Money as well. Um, you guys, we just went through an
Hey,
entire 2 hour broadcast by Bryan Legend, and he answered a lot of questions. My questions I had that I was answering it or asking it. The fact that yes, 60%. Can everybody hear me okay? Because it looks like I'm breaking up on my computer. Everybody can hear me.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
In the comments, everybody can
yeah, you're breaking up,
press
man.
yes or and. Looks like it's breaking up on my side, but what it means is basically, let's say that the pool collects. I'm sorry, I'm breaking up.
You're breaking up.
You guys said I'm breaking up.
Yep.
Yeah, you're frozen.
But you're good on your secondary
nice
camera.
pose, though.
That one hasn't been broken up. That one's doing good on your secondary. Oh, Prado. Man. So what is up, everybody? 2 hours of Bryan Legend. He promised, he delivered. I don't even know if he got the amount of emojis he was asking for to even do this. So, but he still came and delivered, and it was good to hear. I loved it.
Yeah, it was. It reminded me of the old school AMAs. You know, back when it was just like, hey, let's just no frills, get on there and talk as long as we want, and all that stuff. I liked it. It's like the good old days.
Definitely well needed. People hearing from him, like I can say that I like the new mechanisms better until I'm blue in the face, but when he says it, people listen, and it's good to have.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, we've gone through a lot, over the past. I would say even the past. Was it 3 weeks? Lots of big changes from the previous protocol and what's going on here and all that. But it's a process of evolution, but it's good. Things are moving in a positive direction, and it's a good thing.
And it's always fun because we're in an ever-changing environment. So just because something's said today or something this way, people need to understand that in DeFi things change and they change quickly. Like what is it? One day in DeFi is like a week in the normal world,
Yeah. Well, check it out. So, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I'm a developer. I've been a developer for a long time, and I'm also doing development for Vulcan. And the thing is, when you do development, we do something called, there's production processes, and there's one process that mostly everybody does. It's called agile. In the past, you would go and figure out your schedule weeks and months ahead. And the thing is, nobody's good at predicting the future. So that's why your schedules are all messed up. But we practice something called agile. It's more of an agile production methodology. And what we do is every day we short stand up meeting, and we take a look and see, okay, have we hit our goals? What's blocking us? What changes? Things like that. So every day we evaluate, because the thing is with development, it's actually very hard to predict where what you don't know that could come up and change things. So it's the thing about technology and crypto, that really it's an evolving process. And once everybody starts switching to this this kind of a way of agile process where we take a look, reevaluate, figure out mitigation, all that stuff, it allows you to be able to adjust your plan towards what now becomes known. There aren't a lot of things that are always known, and that it just makes you more adaptable. So you're seeing some of that here, and that's actually a good thing. I'm also like an investor in other companies, stock companies, all that stuff. And the thing is that when you invest in a startup, that startup if those founders can't adjust, if they have a dogma of, okay, we started this company doing this one thing, we're going to stick to that no matter what. Market conditions change. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, a long time ago there was a company called Blockbuster Video. They didn't realize that a new wave was coming, and Netflix got in there, and the whole way that entertainment would be consumed, and they didn't change, and they're no longer. So that's the thing, it's being able to adapt and change. So anyways.
Yeah, and then even once you adapt and change and make new change, you still have to adapt again. As you saw, Netflix even changed their models. Remember, it used to be you can get 2 videos at once, and you just mail them back and forth. And then now the more streaming model.
Yeah.
So even though, I know some people have to just understand that change is good, and we have to expect change and react. We can't just always be sad and be like, "Oh, you changed it on us," and then cry.
Are we having problems?
Can you guys hear me okay? Now, it's not going to be as good today because Ms. Worldwide just told me that we had a power outage and it's affecting some of our outlets. And so my router that I'm normally connected to is not. You guys hear me though? Okay.
This one sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying was that, I had a question that I put up there about, the pool when they collect it from the 1%, what's that going to end up being? But we all know that our percentage that we hold is what's supposed to, we're supposed to claim that from the pool. Whatever percentage we own is the percentage from the pool. Well, the Treasury is not collecting, so that was basically 60% of the pool. Yeah. That was going to somehow be missing. I know what you're talking about. From everybody, right? Like everybody who, if you own whatever percentage you had, you still weren't going to get, as far as I was concerned. I mean, that's what the question was about. Like, how is the 60% that the Treasury is not collecting of that pool? How's that getting redistributed? He said that they're going to be able to basically alter our percentages even when Vulcan scan comes out in some way, however way that is, so that we can then be able to see a more accurate percentage of what we own minus the 60% that the Treasury owns, and then that's how much we'll end up getting. I thought that was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear an echo of me.
Yeah. I'm hearing the same thing when I talk.
Let me see. I don't have this one on the screen. Oh. All right. Let me. I'm just gonna go off the stream. I'm gonna restart everything, and then I'll be back, guys. Okay.
Sounds good.
I love Fredo. Yeah.
So this happened 60%, the first time
that was huge. Oh yeah, it's always.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We saw that too. I guess going back to the idea why things change and stuff like that. We'll go through, and there'll be these these ideas, these proposals, like how fixed flex works and all that stuff. And we'll be testing these. We'll actually be simulating this stuff. So there are things that we still have to go through all the different scenarios. So you'll see refinement of some of these things as we go on, and they'll be announced and things like that. But exactly the thing that Daniel brought up, in terms of the Treasury, because the Treasury, the fixed flex is out there, the flex rewards are out there, and the thing is the Treasury cannot get any flex rewards, which means that that portion is unallocated. But there are plans and refinements of what ends up happening with that. So it'll be all good. And the thing is that again, we've seen all this stuff show up in the simulations and the tests, so we're on it.
That is good. Hendrik here with a super chat. You guys deserve a super chat too, not just Bryan. Thank you so much, Hendrik. I appreciate it so much. And Actually, I thought today when he said that the 60% is not because, your total percentage is then going to go up. So then this makes the calculations even crazier to figure out right now. But
Yeah.
it's fun.
Well,
Fun.
yeah,
Actually, no, it's not
later on,
crazier.
I think,
You know how much the total people have, how much the people sacrificed, how
yeah,
many coins they have. You just get rid of
yeah.
this. Yeah, it's easy.
Well, yeah, we have different different methods that we're looking at as we go through all the simulations and tests and stuff like that. So it's not too crazy. And actually, later on, as we go through all these things, we'll probably come up with other calculators that, or things for the dashboard that you guys will get. That'll help you be able to see what's going on, and understand how how the taxes and the gas, how that flows and stuff like that. So
And
yeah,
I
I
am
mean, it's not,
so,
again, it's not, yeah, it's not too
oh,
crazy. It's just we're
yeah.
it takes time to go through and run through the test. And just like what Bryan's saying, we don't want to deliver a block. Now, actually, I shouldn't be saying like I'm not really on the blockchain team. I'm doing other dev stuff, but the blockchain team and the whole team, we're all working together to make sure that we could deliver a solid blockchain, with all the different pieces on that stuff that we test, and that we make sure we understand how things work and stuff. And that takes some time, but that time is going to be well spent, because what we want to do again is get out there with something solid that everybody say, wow, this is pretty good, right?
Yeah. And I'm ecstatic because people were up in arms a few days ago when they realized they had to have an active wallet to get the flex portion, and everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
And then I'm so happy yesterday when that Medium article came out, and it's like, all you have to do is just claim on the D app, and that's your active. I'm like, geez, that's so much simpler, so much easier.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Because people were like, oh, I have to transfer to myself. And then, like, I'm like, oh my
No.
goodness, that's just going to cause chaos. And
No, we also have
what?
some pretty interesting, yeah, pretty interesting things about all that stuff later on too. So it's just a
Yeah.
first step. I think people will be, I think it'll be pretty good. I'll tell you, I'm excited about some of the things that we're looking at and testing and all that stuff. So it'll be
Yeah.
pretty neat.
And all I have to say is if you can't click a button for free money, then you don't deserve the money. Like, people are like, oh, I got to click a
Yeah,
button every day. Well, it's like, yeah, you got to go to work every day to make the money.
dude,
Nothing just comes to you for free. Like,
dude,
well, for me, it's not a
yeah,
big issue because, if you're in other Fork Shark projects, I hit
yeah,
button after button after button. I mean, it's alarm after
yeah,
alarm after alarm. I go, my 4 o'clock hour every
yeah,
day is spent 30 minutes of it going through all
yeah,
my DeFi projects and making sure I get my
yeah,
stuff done. Nothing new,
yeah.
but
I mean, I, what I like doing, or at least how I like thinking about, why you click that button, is because actually, what you're getting is 20% of all the tax that's collected for that 24-hour period. 20% of all the tax that's collected. That's pretty good, right? Now we know that it's 5% of all transactions, but still, that's a pretty interesting chunk. And as things start moving forward and all that, I think you'll start to be able to say, oh wow, this is actually something, right?
yeah,
So
and the most bullish part is it's not minting new coins, it's recycling,
yeah,
which is the greatest thing ever. So you're gaining
yeah,
basically free coins, recycled,
yeah.
and the supply can still go down at the same time. Circulating supply.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah. Well,
that is the big part.
yeah. Well, the only place that is actually minting is really the fixed part. So yeah, the flex part is not doing any growing of new coins or anything like that. And the other part, the fixed, well, it's been severely reduced, right? It was 191,000%. APY. And now it's not that. It's still pretty respectable. Try going to the bank and say, hey, give me 55.27 APY. Can you show me an account? Which savings account can I sign up for at Chase to get 55 0.27% APY. It's still, a pretty big number. But now at least it's something that allows us to have sustainability, right?
Yeah, and here's the true difference when you really think about it, and I want people to really understand this, is at the start of the blockchain, day one, the old way would have put millions, I would need to do the math, millions of coins in circulation. The new way puts 66K a day in circulation. So like you can see how much smaller that is. And
well,
even Dio was doing his his curves, how he did the rebasing models that he had and all the models.
Yeah.
And yesterday he goes, this is what our chart looks like. And it's like this. And I'm like, he goes, there's nothing really, the rebasing is very insignificant now. So that's why I was ecstatic.
Well, the thing too that's very important is you saw the spreadsheet that Bryan showed, and you could see that to reach maximum supply at 375 billion, it'll take us up to about 16 years, if we go for the 330 initial supply and all that, 330 million initial supply. That's a pretty good runway, because with the when it was higher, I think max supply was being reached very, very quickly. And the thing is that when you start having that, then there can be an issue where you've got high volatility, because you're getting so many coins on the market in such a small amount of time, right? So being able to do this allows us to get more of a stable growth, that can actually build a market under it to support the price and stuff. Because if things are going too fast, well, then you probably need to have a marketing machine and marketing budget that is going like 1,000 times fast to make sure that it gets enough people in and trading to support that high growth. Now we have something that's more manageable, right? So I think it's all pretty good.
Yeah, and one thing I'm glad he brought up is just how the price would have gone down and how new investors and people looking at charts, because that's the first thing that happened with safuu. Is I would tell people about it. I'm like, oh, look at how much money I have. This is what I've invested. And they could see I'm in profit. I'd show them that I'm in profit. But they'd be like, oh, you're only in profit because you got in early, which is the classic tale in crypto. You got in early. And I'm like, okay, but but it's tough when they look at a chart that's going down and to the right and being like, well, why should I get in this? So all my friends said, there's no way. If it's going to keep going down, I'm like, but you're earning more. And you can't explain that mechanism to people. It just doesn't fly with people. So, and I'm sure if you were to try to go home, anybody in the comments, go home and try and explain that mechanism and see if somebody would invest like to the average person. And probably the answer is no. And if you can't get the average person in your blockchain, that's a problem. So I'm glad Bryan brought that up, that like this is better for that, bringing in new people to the blockchain, and projects and exchanges are going to like this better. Stability is always better. I know people wanted to get a lot. They wanted the allure of like, oh, look I started with 6,000 coins and now I'm up to 250,000 coins. But the value of those coins is all that matters, not how many you have.
Yeah.
I don't know what I missed. Sorry, Nacho, but
I've been in. Hey, how you doing?
Sorry, it's still. I'm sorry about this, but my internet, I'm having a problem with it today. Is it better now, or is it still shitty?
You're good.
Okay,
and I'm not hearing myself, so we're good now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll keep you this time. We'll let you stay.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. But what I was saying, if you didn't hear me, was the fact that we're going to be able to split the entire 100%, excluding the 60% of the treasury. That to me was very bullish. But Nacho and Greek, Lead has a real big problem right now. He thinks that this was supposed to be based on some gas that we were supposed to be getting as note holders, that we were supposed to be getting a percentage of the taxes. I don't know about you guys, but I never was expecting that. Do you guys know what Lead's concern is? Because I'm not maybe I'm just not
Yeah.
understanding it properly. But I never was under the assumption that we were to be getting a part of the taxes as node holders. Are you guys aware of this at all? I mean, I'm also asking this question because I know you're on Nacho, and you're very knowledgeable about all this kind of stuff as well. But I also want to help lead out in his concern. I don't know. Was there ever a time? Because he produced a document to me in Greek that said that we were getting it. But I don't ever remember that. I don't ever remember us as node holders. This is, I know, for not that many in the crowd watching. It's only for node holders. But was there ever a time that we were supposed to be getting a tax, Nacho?
So, there was, I think early on, I remember going through, looking at the spreadsheet as well as some of the other things. And there's a point where, I think that things were in flux. They were changing. And I don't think everything got updated. And this is early on, right?
Early, yeah.
So, yeah, it's like when we first had the spreadsheet, right, and all that kind of stuff. I think again, as I mentioned before, there are the team is constantly looking at what it's doing and the information that puts out. And after a while, there's some things that you end up noticing and saying, okay, great. Well, what about this situation? What about that? And they go back and refine it and all that. So there was a point where there was, it looked like there was mention of that, and it showed up in part of the spreadsheet, but also didn't show up in some other documentation. So there was, I would say, an inconsistency that was early on. I think that that inconsistency got resolved with the latest tokenomics, because you could clearly see what the nodes are getting and what they're not getting, right? So again, there were things like that were happening, but again, as I mentioned, the team is constantly looking at the information that puts out, and again, we're always we're back testing stuff too, because we're looking at, okay, great, so there's this scenario, there's that scenario. We also see, a lot of us, we're looking at the discords a lot. We take a look and see what the concerns are and all that, and we go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Hey, let's test that out. That is an interesting concern that we didn't I think that would be something, but let's test that out. So we'll take a look at that. We have our own kind of things that we're looking at, and we'll test these out. And then from there, we might decide to go through and refine something to say, okay, great, we need to go and deal with this scenario. So this is a good thing.
But Nacho, let me just interrupt you real quick. It says here, it's in a document from the safuu website. And you can't get those figures on the calculator without it. We need a new calculator on the Vulcan website ASAP. And he has spoken about this for months. They will never, they never change the calculator on the site. Okay, so is Greek, is what Lead's saying then all of the money that was in the calculator that we were, when you slid the thing to see how much volume was that day. And this is for you too, Nacho, because I don't know, like when we were doing that and we were seeing those figures where it was at $1 million a day, we get 300,000. If it was 100 million, you get this. And if it was $1 billion, you get like 1.5 million, whatever per year. If it was everyday volume of $1 billion, did that calculator include that the fact that, was the calculator on the site including that we were supposed to be collecting even from the taxes, which again, I never thought this, but if the calculator is calculating that we were supposed to be making that amount based on collection from the taxes, then Lead is right. That's completely wrong, and it throws off everything that we were expecting from the notes.
Yeah. So I got on, I think I started working with the team about end of November. So the calculator, the node calculator and all that stuff, I actually haven't taken a look at any of that. But what I could do is I could take a look just to see what was going on, what was included and things like that.
Can I just put...
Yeah.
I could put kind of a spin. What is the gas fee per se, or is that not known? Is that just based on that? So there's not set. Never mind. Never mind.
Well,
I thought
yeah,
I was gonna
the
try and
gas
come
fee
up
is
with a
going
calculation to try and figure it out with just
to.
gas fees and see if it matches
Yeah,
up to what the slider, because I remember the slider what it had, but never mind.
yeah.
We don't know what the gas
Well,
is. We can't really.
back then with the calculator, there were also, different ideas of what the again the APY was, how the blockchain was gonna work out and all that. Because I think when that calculator came out was it in June? Did it come out that early? June or
I believe
July?
it was July, I think, but it was pretty
Okay.
early on, and then that was never changed. And I know the back
Yeah.
end stuff of it always had like a tax
Mm,
portion in it, but I just always thought, and I
yeah.
was told at the time, because when I asked
Yeah.
about it, I just thought, oh, the calculator's not is factoring in the right stuff. That is just not updated. That's out of
Mm,
date stuff. So with the slider bar that
yeah.
everybody's playing with, that supposedly was right. Now that could
Mm,
not be the case. It could be pulling from that, and who knows? That's why
mm,
we are bringing this up for the answers on what
yeah.
is it and what if they create a new slider and
Well,
just say this is the new numbers.
yeah.
This is what node, like, because and you've had
Yeah.
a bunch of node sales. People tried to plan out for what nodes, and now everybody's claiming, oh, we only invested in nodes for the
Yeah.
rebasing, but they don't understand that if you were just in your regular bag, that would rebase anyway, so it's equaled out. You never should have counted node rebasing as part of node earnings.
Yeah.
But
safuu, how can I
Yeah.
get to the calculator right now, guys?
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand what everybody. I understand what the concerns are and things like that. What I can do just as a private citizen, I could go and take a look and see, what is going on. Because to be honest, I never really looked into the regional node calculator and how it operated or anything like that. So it might be something I'd take a look at and see what's going on. But when it comes down to the assumptions, and again, I'm just kind of saying this because I don't know. I'm just taking some stabs at it. There were certain assumptions that were made back in July, and I think the calculator was built in maybe June, right? They sat down and did all that kind of stuff. So, from there to now, I believe that we've all seen that there have been, I guess, discoveries and changes in terms of what they're seeing, how, the tax and the gas and all that stuff would flow. Back then the tax was, I think, at 10% for everything, right? And then it went down to 5%, and then they redistributed how that 5% was going to be split up. So I get what people are saying, and I'm not quite sure myself, but I could give it a look, and then maybe the next time I come back on the show, I could tell you guys what I found out, and then we could go from there, something like that,
Greek and Nacho, where there's because Lead is saying go to the calculator and you see, but I don't know, maybe he's saying when you went, because I can't get to a calculator. Is that not visible right now?
no, everything's off now. It's not
Everything's
up there anymore that I know of. I'm just going to throw that out there now.
I mean,
maybe somebody.
It shouldn't be there. Yeah, it shouldn't be there anymore, because again, that calculator was based off of, how the protocol and the blockchain was going to work with the tax structure back in June, July. And that is no longer relevant, especially after it switched from 10% tax to 5%. And then also some of the changes of the tokenomics. I believe that there's probably going to be a new, calculator, along with other, like I said, other tools that'll go on the dashboard that will allow people to really go through and take a look at different scenarios, project forward, and all that stuff. But that's not there right now, but it'll be there.
So, Lead, I understand your concern. We're gonna have to figure it out and get back to it, because it is an interesting question. I mean, I had no idea that was even I just did not think at all that we were collecting any taxes. But he's bringing it to my attention today. He says that it's on the website still. Well, it was. I mean, all this time. But we also need to remember that it was. They took it down. Yeah. We also have to understand that was when this was early on, when these were done. We just lost Nacho. But there goes Hendrik Rivera, who posed this question while I was having problems. There goes Nacho again. He says, Nacho and Greek, real price prediction first week based on the math and your numbers. I know a lot of viewers like to hear this. Thank you so much, Hendrik, for that. So everybody, the way I see this and this new tokenomics, and Nacho and Greek, you can disagree or agree with me. It doesn't look like our circulating supply is going to be moving much at all. Like we're not going to have this like super inflationary token anymore, coin. But also, if there's anything, it will go up a little bit and then even go down a little bit. It's just when volume starts to go up. If the price goes down, then we'll see a lot more burn, and then we'll see a lot less, of circulating supply. But if the price goes up, then we're going to see a lot less of coins being burned. But the way it's set up, everybody with the pool being handed out from already existing coins, instead of being minted, the only thing that's being minted per day of the entire circulating supply is, let's just call it 0.12% every day is what we go up by. But then we burn every day by 3% based on the taxes. So what we should be doing is we should be going down. But then there's other things that Nacho would be able to illustrate or iterate better than me. But it doesn't seem like we're really going to have that much of an inflation or deflation, period. And what I've said, because I said this in the chat yesterday, Greek, love to know your opinion, and Nacho, of course. But Greek, you know that Ethereum has 140 million coins in existence. We're only going to have 58 million. So if they can get up to $5,000, I said this in the chat yesterday, and I know not everyone's going to go, your price predictions are always wrong. We can get to $9,000-$10,000. It's only if Ethereum can get to. Now, I'm not talking about day one, guys. I'm not talking about day one. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, we're talking a year or 2 years down the line.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, we're looking at 58 million, Greek, right? And that's it. So that if Ethereum, if everybody out there thinks that price prediction is outrageous, but and you're just going to completely disregard the fact that Ethereum with 140 million got up to nearly $5,000 per coin. If you think for a second that we cannot, then I've got news for you. I mean, I don't have to tell you. It's right there for you all to see. Just go look at Ethereum's chart. I'm not making that up. Okay. So what's the question, Hendrik? The question is for the first day and first week, first month, whatever. I think that we are going to
here's the thing,
especially if we have a lot of projects.
Yeah. Well, that's what you mentioned projects, right? The thing is that when the way you're mentioning, okay, great, we've got the circulation and the burn and all that stuff. In a way, you're kind of talking about as if it's a project where the only thing, it's like what was going on with safuu. It was the coin has to take care, the token has to take care of itself. There is nothing else other than the trading and just seeing the burn and all that. What's different is that this is all working on a blockchain where we are launching projects that will bring different utility and uses for things. And it's not just that it's about the utility, it's about the trading. It brings in more trading. And with a Rebase token that we have, a Rebase coin, we still have that 55.27 APY. Now, I saw a comment in here. People are saying, "Hey, wait a minute, when it get to 55?" It's still the 44 APR. I just like talking about APY because this is a compounding, a compounding coin. And because it's compounding, that's 20% extra. So I'm not going to talk about leaving money on the table. I'm always going to talk about all the money. Okay. Why talk about, the a figure that leaves off 20%? Hey, let's talk about all the money. So the thing is that for our coin, it needs to have a lot of transaction. And the transaction doesn't just have to be buy and sells are welcome. Anything, any transaction, right? Because this is what drives revenue, right? This is what drives revenue for the coin, because we all know how the tokenomics work, right? As you transact, there's a tax that comes out. That tax is a tax revenue, and that's what is used to go and power a bunch of different things and all that. So we do want to have that transaction, and that's why having projects on there is great. The projects that have, we talk about utility. Okay, they're gonna do stuff with the token and all that stuff. The utility can just be activity, where the projects just cause people to want to move things around. Maybe they're staking, unstaking, doing games, doing some other kind of thing where they're constantly doing stuff with the Volt token. That is great, and that's a thing that not a lot of people have experience with, especially for most of our holders who are used to just investing in just a project. This is a blockchain. And this blockchain has other dimensions. It doesn't have the single dimension of, it's just a token, and we just trade it on the DEX, and we see what happens. You hold it, you all that stuff. We have much more. So I think that's something that we could look at, that also can add towards. You're talking about, hey, is this going to be inflationary, deflationary? It looks like it's going to be maybe just hovering around there. No, I think again, this activity, that's what's going to allow us to see this grow, to change, right?
Yeah.
So that's just another way of thinking about it. The other dimension.
Compton, where's this calculator? Because I don't know where it is, but you said it's up, and it's.
This is Shepsky's he's talking about.
Oh,
this is totally different. Yeah. He updated his with
okay.
fixed flex.
Yeah.
But even now, with the new information, it's probably got to be re-updated, because he's doing his based on total pool and including I think he's including the treasury. So that would change things. So he's got to remove that.
Yeah, I could work with the UK on that, because I was talking to him in DM yesterday, because he was asking people to take a look at the calculator. So I went back to him and mentioned a bunch of different things. So I could go work with him, and if anybody else is out there with a calculator, they want some help and stuff like that, you could DM me. My DMs are open over at the Vol Discord, and I'd be happy to help you, work with you, and all that stuff to make sure the calculators are having the right information, that kind of stuff. So,
and once again,
how about that?
Nacho will never DM you first.
None of us will.
No.
I just wanted reiterated just for safety.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I'm just throwing it out there. Make sure. And Spudley RJ says, be careful to dismiss what PCL is saying. Let's just be clear, everybody. I never dismiss what Lead is saying, ever. Your numbers are also based on the same thing.
I'm not.
No way the huge numbers you have been talking about are really possible. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not dismissing either. I'm willing to go in there and take a look at the code from the past one and see what's going on, because again, I don't know. I never really took a look at it, so I could take a look and see. Maybe the next time I come back, I could say, hey, here's what I found, blah 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 blah, and all that stuff.
Yeah, none of us are dismissing what he's saying, but also Spudley RJ, what numbers am I saying that cannot be possible? What I was just talking about, the 9,000, 10,000, it is possible. It's absolutely possible. I mean, there's we're talking about what Lead is talking about in his comments is about the nodes and the disbursement. That's all. Like his concern is that we were supposed to be getting a piece of what gets paid in taxes. And all I'm saying is that I never thought that, like that was not ever a part of what I thought was a part of the calculation. He just brought it up today to me and Greek during the live, saying that what's going on. I thought that we were getting this, and I was like, really? Because I never knew.
I want it to be known that when he brought this up, we have only had about between the time he bringing it up and now about an hour to like, and we haven't really researched it much. So I'm not dismissing it. I just need to do more research on it. And of course, with none of the stuff being up there to play with calculators and look at all this stuff, that's the part. It's hard to research as well. So I'm not dismissing it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't affect the overall pricing of where we think the blockchain can go. That's just how much node revenue is getting for them. It doesn't change. I mean, for us, because I'm a node holder, but it doesn't change where the blockchain can go. That's the price can go just no matter what when Prado gives those numbers.
Yeah. There are things that I can't really talk about yet because again we're going through and doing tests and all that stuff. But there are other kinds of interesting things that will be interesting for the node holders. Okay, and again we'll go through and as we go through and test things and we go through our scenarios and all that stuff, we'll be able to start solidifying that, and then later on we'll be able to talk about that. But I know what you guys are talking about, when it comes down to, the nodes and the decisions made and all that stuff. But I think there are other dimensions and, I think there are other dimensions. So, we're all going through the journey and as we go through the process of what we're going through with the evolving, some of the economy for the nodes and stuff like that.
Bryan or anyone from the team that's watching, can you go ahead in the comments and just verify that the calculator, because none of us can go to the calculator right now, but I have got to believe, because Spudley RJ is also saying, the calculator, if the calculator was correct, it doesn't matter where it comes from. What I would like to know is, was that calculator using taxes that we were getting as well, or was it not? Because I'm gonna just lean towards that it was not, because that's not what we were supposed to be getting. It never was like that. I know that there was something written that way at some point, but I think that was quickly taken out of the mix when it came to what we're getting as node holders. But yet that calculator stayed up the entire time. It never said on there. It never, like, you guys remember when we did the calculator, Greek? You know how it would tell us how much was from the fees that we were getting and how much we were making from the from the rebases that we were receiving per day. Like, there was never a line there that said from taxes. Like in my opinion,
was,
and I think this might alleviate lead a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the numbers are still and should still have been accurate, because I don't think we were ever getting that, Greek, right?
And one thing I want to say is the team never verbalized that taxes were ever a part of this. So whether the back end thing said it, but one thing I do want to make sure and make clear is the slidey calculator we were playing around with, was that always correct and just back end wording? So I'm not dismissing what they're bringing up, because if that was pulling data from the back end stuff that was incorrect, then all these numbers I've been spewing are wrong. And obviously I wouldn't have knowingly known that, because, but that's all I wanted as an answer is that slidey thing correct, the calculator that we were seeing, or because there was never verbalized that taxes were ever included. So I never even took that as a thing. So for me, I just always assumed the calculator, node calculator. I never even looked at the back end stuff. I knew people were talking about it having stuff, but that was too much math and too much crazy stuff that I'm like, why would I play around with that when I got a slidey figure that tells me exactly what I need?
David Robinson says nodes have always been based on the gas fees and not the taxes. The rebases for the nodes came from the taxes, only not for validations. Yeah. So also, I know you were going to say something, Nacho, but I wanted to get to this other comment.
No problem.
By Spudley RJ, the numbers in the calculator are impossible without the gas fees. That's not true. That's not true. It said it on there what we were getting. Like, I don't know how you would think that's Spudley RJ, but it spelled out the numbers. it like, in other words, I'll tell you, I'll put it to you this way. When we were getting the gas fees, and then we were getting, because Greek did this on his own. He did the calculations.
No,
When
what he's talking
was,
about is that slider bar. So like right now, for 100 million in volume, it says each node would earn $650 a day in revenue. He's saying that 650 with just gas fees and no tax portion like the back end's RIN would be impossible to achieve for 500 node holders. And that's what Lead was trying to say to us. So that's why there's the concern now. Where was it pulling the data from? And was that always wrong because it was pulling from old data? But then again, how much gas fees does 100 million in transactional volume bring? And then you would obviously just divide that by the number. I don't know what the fees are and if it's even possible or not, but they're saying it's not possible based on just gas fees alone. So they're trying to insinuate that they're trying to insinuate that that slider bar that we were all playing with was taking into account the back end data from that old data source, and that's what was giving it that data. So that's why we have to get a new updated with all the new mechanisms and exactly what's going to be in place. And
so David Robbins says the calculator had two separate numbers. One was for the node fees and for the gas. The other number was for the rebases received, of which comes from taxes. No, David, those numbers that were for rebases were minted for the nodes the same way that we were. It wasn't taxes. That's why the numbers are going to change on the nodes pretty significantly. But I don't think that that they were impossible, like Spudley RJ was saying, because based on what we were supposed to be getting, it's all changed now. Then yeah, of course now it's gonna be different. But like when we were supposed to be getting rebasing this amount every day, assuming that it stayed the same price, which we know it wasn't, then it would have been worth this amount of money, whatever it was. But in that calculation, it never said anything about tax, the portion that we received in safuu X at the time from because then there would have been three categories. It would have been from the gas fees, it would have been from the rebase, and then also our receivings from the taxes that was charged for each transaction. It never said that. So that's why I'm saying, Bryan or whoever's watching did that. And was that included? And it just didn't say that. I don't think it was. That's why I don't know that this is accurate. You know what I mean? Like, of course, the numbers have changed for the nodes because the numbers have changed for everybody. But it also means that because, like, here's what I want everybody to understand that might be concerned because of the less rebases. If we end up having more money per Vulcan now, right? If they're worth $300 each or $50 each or $90 each or whatever the number is, then it's a lot better to receive one Vulcan worth $100 than it is to receive 150 worth, 50 cents or worth, 10 cents, whatever it is. I think that's better, and it's better looking, and it feels better for all of us, doesn't it? But the fact that we're getting less in rebase, I think, is freaking people out, Nacho, but they're forgetting that it's less that we're getting in terms of that amount of Vulcan, but the amount of each Vulcan is going to be worth way more. I mean, like, what if it does get to $1,000? Are you going to be pissed off that we did this way? It was never going to reach $1,000 the other way. Never. Now we're going to get there. It's good. Yeah. It's like it's imminent. Like, to me, this is a foregone conclusion. It's going to get there. I mean, it just is. Go ahead, Nacho.
Well, here's the thing I've always felt about with rebase tokens. I mean, all rebase tokens, not just safuu. I mean, it was even with the Titano and Sphere, Ohm, Time Wonderland. I mean, I was in a lot of those things, right? The thing is that, rebase tokens is an evolution coming from the ICO. People used to go and get an ICO. They get a token distribution. And then once the ICO launched, everybody would dump. So people start figuring out how can you get away from this kind of dumping and have people hold and all that stuff. Well, rebase tokens, I always saw it as like a vested non-custodial vesting, because essentially when you buy a token, especially with Time Wonderland and all that stuff, you always bought it at a premium. And what I mean by that is that, let's say if you bought enough for bought $100 worth of a token, and maybe you got 1 or 2 tokens, you bought at a premium because maybe you should have really gotten 10 tokens, right? Because of how the pricing is and all that stuff. So what happens is the rebasing is there's like vesting. So you vest over maybe a couple months, and as you vest, you start getting those tokens. So by the end of, let's say, 3 or 6 months, now you have the amount of tokens that you probably should have gotten when you first bought it, because that was a premium. But that's how you do that vesting, and it's non-custodial because you have in your pocket. You always sell whenever you want. It's not like it's locked up. That's how I always felt how all the rebase tokens were. That's what, to me, the mechanism was. It was really a way of doing token distribution with being able to put a motivation to have people vest on their own to hold the thing. So you would avoid like the instant dumping that used to happen with ICOs and all that stuff, right? That's just me and how I interpret a lot of these things. But when it comes down to it, I guess, it again, if you've been an investor in a company that has stocks and it went through like a round, a B round, a C round, every time there's a different round, a vesting round, you get diluted because in order to get new investors, they have to mint new stocks to give it out, which means that all the other holders, their position gets diluted, right? I mean, this is the idea of dilution in terms of what you have is a common thing. But as a stockholder, you're hoping that there's a price appreciation, that the price appreciation would outrun the dilution, and that's where you make all your money, right? So that's the same thing with a lot of the crypto and a lot of these things with rebase and stuff like that. Even though you'll see like a rebase and it means that you're going to go through an amount of dilution, what you really want is to see that price appreciation, because that price appreciation, if it keeps building, it should overpower that dilution. And now you're heading into profit. And eventually, if things are good, you have what we call the hockey stick, right? You take a look at a chart. It's supposed to look like a hockey stick. It goes up, and then there's a certain point where it hits that tipping point where a lot of holders, a lot of transactions, then it really shoots up. That kind of thing. So this is just, I guess, my point of view when I see what I've seen in just all crypto projects that have this kind of rebasing thing, and then comparing it to my time in investing just regular stocks and in different rounds, from an angel investor to a round A, round B, and what you're looking for as an investor, right? There's going to be this change in quantity, flip from a quantity thing to, again, the price appreciation, right? Where you want everything to go up. And when you take a look at a lot of the rebase tokens that were out there, if you take a look at most of them, they've turned them off, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, right?
Well, they're all going to copy
they
this
want to
now.
flip to the price appreciation.
This is going to be copied.
Everybody needs to. Yeah. Well, the thing is that you need to move to the next phase, which is price appreciation.
Yeah.
Once
and
you,
this helps.
the
This
reason why,
new
again,
model
you
though,
have this.
Nacho, helps in price appreciation, doesn't it? I mean, because we're still receiving rebases, everybody, from existing coins. It's not rebases because they're not being minted and they're not just appearing in our wallet just because we're holding. They're being put in our wallet because we claim them with existing coins, which is brilliant. And it makes that it means that our circulating supply barely moves up at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Again, the fixed part is the only part where we're bringing in new coins. But the flex part, it's just a tax collection of circulation that's already out there. So you're exactly right. It's not adding to it. and it's it's redistributing what's
So
already
you can
out there.
expect
So
you can
that's a
expect
good thing. But
tokens to copy this, open up on the BNB chain, on our chain, whatever. It's going. There's going to be people that copy this because it is absolutely brilliant. This is Brick Jolo. Says Prado, you can brick. You were right yesterday. I was wrong about the sacred fire pit and make that big laugh. Do that right now. You're right about that. I did not know when this was brought up about safuu. This is we're changing gears for just a second here, and I disagree with it. Just so everybody knows, I don't think that. I mean, whatever's supposed to go to the fire pits, it should just be the fire pit. If there was a percentage that Bryan gets, I agree with him getting something out of the safuu protocol. But 25% of what goes into the fire pit and 25% of what goes into the SIF, no, I don't think that that's right. So you're right, and I disagree with it. Now I'm not going to be able to change anything. That's just my opinion. But it's supposed to go to the fire pit. It should be burned. But Bricholo, like I understand that you love to bring this up every single day, and so I hope that this relieves you a little bit. But also, like it's not. You're saying it as if there's been something like nefarious that's happened with it. He's now getting paid 25% of what goes into the fire pit. He never did anything else with it though. He didn't spend it. He didn't dump on it. So okay, I get it. Like you were right. I was misunderstood because that's not the way it was the first time, and then it evolved to that in some time, and it was in an article. But you also commented here. Let me just get to it because you did have a good comment up here that I wanted to talk about. Stop being a lunatic, you said. ETH is a leader in the space. It's a platform. It's a platform for development. There is blockchains at $1. We need those projections on our chain first, not just a few holders. So I'm not being a lunatic, Bricholo. Like here's the thing. You understand that ETH is, I understand that ETH is a leader in the space, and it has most of the developers on there. But when I said that, and I still am going to say that it's possible and probably going to happen. Even Greek said it. Like what we're talking about is years down the road. Like when I was saying it, I have to assume that Bricholo, and maybe I'm wrong. You just don't know that what I'm talking about is down the line. Down the line. I thought I made that very clear that it's possible with Ethereum having 140 million in circulation and going up to nearly $5,000, with us being at 58 million, and then later on down the line, I guess I have to say all of that for people to understand what that projection or prediction or guesstimate could be. With all of that happening sometime down the line in the next year, 2 or 3, because of the attraction that this is going to bring with what's happening, we're getting a rebase every single day. We still are getting that. On top of that, we're getting additional coins being added to our wallet because of the flex component continuing to add to our wallet without it ever inflating, means that we're going to be in the neighborhood of 58 million for some time now. And it might even go, if it goes up, it goes up by a little bit, but it is mostly going to be going down. So if we can see with our own eyes, everybody, that Ethereum with 140 million and their projects being built, they get to $5,000 nearly. Why on earth would it be? And I'm a lunatic for thinking that we could do the same thing and then also even more, because we actually have nearly a third less in circulation than Ethereum. How is that it at all? Being a lunatic, like it doesn't make any sense. If we had 400 million and then going up from there, then I would agree with you. But we have actually less in circulation, and then we're also going to have all these projects being built on there that is going to eventually become a lot. It's going to create a lot of volume, and it's going to affect price. Nacho, am I a lunatic for thinking that, or am I at least, looking at this somewhat optimistically? Yes, but it's not impossible, right? I mean, in fact, it's very possible based on what we know.
Yeah. Now, I like your just lunatic style. Are you a lunatic in terms of all the stuff? I don't think so. I mean, they're again, the to be able to affect pricing and things like that really comes down to how we're able to go and bring in lots of action, lots of lots of excitement to the blockchain, that people start coming in and they start participating and doing things. There are ideas of how we could do a lot of things that of the things that were mentioned. That's just the first stage. There are progressions of all these things, and I think it all becomes exciting. The fact is that we all realize, on the team, that there are things that we're doing that can allow us to grow more interest, to build mind share. Building mind share is when people that you're not part of that conversation, they start talking about you. You're growing mind share. People start talking. They say, "Hey, what's going on over there? What's happening? This is interesting." Sometimes maybe it can have a kind of this sense of FUD where it's like, "Yeah, those guys, what the hell," that kind of thing. But they're still talking. They're still mentioning, and it starts building up a curiosity. This is actually important. The fact that the worst thing you could ever have is you launch a blockchain and nobody cares. Nobody gives a crap. That's bad. That's hard.
Yeah.
Then it's like, hey, over here. You're yelling and nobody cares. They just whatever. No. Does Vol have that situation? No. It's got various kind of interesting things going on, various conversations that go on that allow it to have mind share, and then it's being able to take that mind share and then turn that towards activity, right? And I believe that the path forward to be able to achieve these things might even be able to tickle the lunatic ideas is through the idea that we're able to get this activity and this action, to be able to make use of some mind share, grow it, and then be able to direct that towards bringing people in, bringing holders in, and converting them to being able to do activities and things like that. So, and again, too, remember, the difference between what we have here with the blockchain and what was going on with the safuu is that we weren't going out trying to hit up centralized exchanges and all these other groups and stuff like that. So we're looking at multiple avenues of being able to when I think personally, when I think of centralized exchanges, I think of it as a storefront. It's just like the Apple App Store, right? That's a storefront. Being able to go and list on the different centralized exchanges or do some kind of cross chain project with somebody on that stuff, it becomes another storefront for us to be able to have product discovery. What's our product? Vol, the blockchain, and to be able to get people to, wow, hey, what's going on here? And then they come over, right? So I think there are all these other dimensions that are going on that I think as we start moving forward, people start to realize, okay, now I get it. I see what's going on, because not everybody has had that experience in terms of, okay, here's the experience of a project. Now here's the experience of a blockchain. There are other dimensions that are going on.
Yeah, it's very dynamic, and a lot is gonna have to do with what happens with price. Greek, a question for you. The medium states 1 million times 1% equals 10,000. The calculator on the other side is 1 million times 0.01. That's a massive difference. Which one is correct? I think they're reading it wrong, don't you agree? So the medium states that 1 million times 0.01 equals 10,000. The calculator on the other side that's the same thing.
Yeah,
they're both
the
the same
thing.
exact thing.
I think he's looking at the example. It's just he used 1% just because it's easy numbers of $1 million. If the pool is $1 million and the flex portion is 10,000.
No, great. I know what the problem is. This is the same problem that everybody's having, and for some reason, I don't know why you don't see this, silly ball. And I'm not criticizing you, but okay, it's 1 million times 0.01 because that is 1%. When you multiply something as a percentage, you could just go ahead and type 1 million times and then the percent. But usually the way you do it is 1 million times 1% is 1 million times 0.01. But what you think is that it's 0.01%. It's not 0.01%. That's why you think it's a massive difference. That's like 10 times more if it's 1% than 0.1%. And you're right, that's 10 times less, but it's not. The reason why you're getting confused is because when it says that he's multiplying 1 million times 0.01%, he actually put that little percentage sign there because he's just telling you that's the percentage side of the equation, but he's not saying it's multiplied by 0.01%. He's saying it's multiplied by 1%. The way you enter it into your calculator is 0.01. That's what that means. All right, so it's not written wrong. It's just maybe you should just get rid of that percentage sign at the end of that example, Greek, because people keep seeing that percentage sign, even though we all know that, as people, when I'm reading it, I knew what 0.01 meant. And when I got to that part and it said 1 million times 0.01%, I didn't think, wait, I thought he said it was 1%. Why does it say 1.01? I didn't get that at all, but other people are. And that part's confusing people for some reason. It didn't confuse me, but it's confusing others, right, Greek?
That makes sense. So they're viewing it as 0.01% rather than 1% because he put the percentage there. Yeah, it's just that makes sense. I didn't even look at the example part because he had explained it on one of our lives, and I already knew.
Yeah. It came up like yesterday in the Discord and all that stuff. I believe it's just a typo. Because again, when you put the percent, then you have to do something with 2 zeros. So, they'll fix that. There have been various, little things like that get picked up, and they'll be adjusted and corrected and all that stuff. It's just. It's human.
Yeah.
How about that? It's human.
I love it.
Humans are writing this. We're not using Chat GPT to write the stuff. And sometimes people are just writing too fast and because they're excited and they get that out there. But, that's just a thing.
Kevin Rollinson said a smaller question, and then it's one inexpensive way is, or no cost, is to give Vulcan blockchain more exposure, to send out press releases, offer to do interviews for details on Vulcan blockchain, and so on. See next post. No next post yet, but yeah, of course they're going to do that. It's just, what can you do when you send it out? And if there's, like, for instance, a big, gigantic YouTube personality that does crypto, like BitBoy and people like that, they're not going to. If they don't want to do it, then there's nothing you can do. And some of them, like BitBoy, they don't even accept payment anymore because of trouble that they got into in the past. Yeah. And so you have to rely on the performance that you have as a blockchain to catch their eye, to say, hey, this is something that I should be telling my viewers about. Now, of course, sending out that press release is gonna get them to start looking at it so that they can then, say, oh, wow, this is something interesting. So, yeah, but they will be doing that kind of stuff.
Yes. In my opinion, the best press that could be happening is you release March 1st, you get some projects, you get some sexes, yes. And then that on itself, once people see success, then they all want to come in and be like, what's this all about? Because I see it's doing well. And then they spread the word to more people, and then it's a slow growth. So this is why the first year is vital. And, you don't want to overspend, because it's very expensive to overspend right now and get the publicity that you really need. And it's expensive.
Go ahead, Mrs. Worldwide. You wanted to tell me something?
Yeah, not everyone's free like me and Prado,
Mrs. Worldwide, did you have to tell us something? Because you're on here.
No, sorry.
Okay.
She's actually looking at you with dagger eyes. That's what's going on. This
is a super chat from Compton. He says that $250 after a week, very possible and bullish. Compton, it's beyond that is what's possible. It depends on what comes out and in on the blockchain as far as problem solvers. These people. There could be something that comes out, you guys, that is so incredible and so exciting for people that it could skyrocket the price. I mean, there could be a couple of things like that, more than a couple of things. Like Ethereum. One of the reasons why Ethereum got to nearly $5,000 was because of the NFT market. The NFT market came out, and people wanted to own those ape the ape club, and people were buying those things at 500,000, a million, 2 million. One went up for auction. The most rare one went up for auction, and I think it pulled in $3 million for that one NFT. And because of that boom in that time, during that summertime, I think it was during the spring or summer that we had this big crazy boom. It was right before our launch of safuu. So it was that whole year of 2009. Was it 2020? During the year of 2020, the NFT market took off, and Ethereum had the ones that were the most valuable, and so it made that go up. Now that could possibly happen here. I mean, something like that. There's something that's going to be new that's created all the time. They are. And if that happens on ours, it could make our blockchain price skyrocket. But it's very possible, Compton, for it to go more, even just because of volume, the amount of projects that are on, all the people coming in, the advertising, institutional buyers come in, things like this. Because we are only at 58 million and will basically be there, you could best believe that this is going to go off. It's going to go off like crazy. And I want you guys to understand that.
Well,
and it's not because I'm a lunatic.
You are a lunatic. Hey, but I love you, man. I love my lunatics. So here's the thing. Now this is what I'm looking at. We got in 18 months, we got the halving event, right? And usually leading up to that 18 months, maybe about 6 months in, we start hitting into the bull market. So that's only like 12 months away, right? If I do my math right and stuff like that. So
that's right.
As we go and have the blockchain go and we get established and we've got this runway of, let's say, the 6 months of getting out there and showing what we're getting going, and as projects start launching and all that stuff, by the time we hit the beginning of the bull run, in the 12 month, we should be set up. We should have an ecosystem of projects, and we should have,
that's our sponsor,
activity and all that stuff.
Ooh,
yeah. Oh, okay, very nice. So then when that happens, that's going to be awesome, because what you're going to want to have is be ready for now everybody jumping into crypto and say, wow, everything's interesting on that stuff, right? This is great. Oh, I hear myself again.
Something that you just did, Greek, is making a thing.
Yeah.
Greek brought up on something, and then all of a sudden there was now it stopped. There you go. Thank you, Greek.
Okay.
One more time, Greek, and you're off the show.
Yeah. So again, we're getting set up before the bull market. And what's great about the next bull market is that you want something interesting, unique, and creative. Because the people coming in, they're looking for excitement. Because in the bull market, everything plays, everything is successful. So the thing you look for is, what's the cool thing? When you talked about the NFTs and the board, the yacht club, and all that kind of stuff, it was because it had an interesting creative angle, right? That was what was going on. So if you want to see that killer app, that killer kind of thing, it's got to have that unique creative thing. Because when you have that, that's when people start saying, wow, I got to get on this. And they start FOMOing. So it's really looking at that. And, again, we have a year to be able to engineer, to work with projects, and to go through. And like I said before, you want to evolve. You want to go through and test things out, try it out in the market, try it out with the holders, all that stuff, listen to that, and then make changes and improve it or take it to a different direction. We're going to be able to do have enough time to do that. So then by the time that bull market shows up, wow, we could be fine-tuned and that'd be awesome because I'm excited about the bull market that's going to come up. I just see a lot of dollar signs. Now that's
Yeah.
where I'm being a lunatic. Okay,
That's
where
what
I'm a lunatic.
I am right
None of
there
this
with
is-
you, my
is-
brother.
Yeah, none of this is financial advice. This is me. I'm going to tell you, I'm a lunatic. Don't pay attention to me as a
We
lunatic.
should just
but I'll
name our
tell you,
channel as not
I can't
financial advice. The amount of times that we have to say this.
in 12 months is the beginning of the
Don't
bull
you guys love
market.
Nacho's laugh?
You're gonna have
It is
the
the
halving.
greatest.
Oh man, dude. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna.
No, don't calm
breathing.
down. We love it, brother. Right on, Nacho. You are indeed on the money, says Cosmic Force Crypto Gold Rush. Wave M Studios. He also, Paolo Okenu says, Nacho, can we take the example of 100 million transaction volume equals $650 daily return and compare against the new models so node holders know where they stand for node earnings based on $9? Thanks. Well, let me just say about this also, just so that everybody knows. I know that Lead is very concerned, and also Spudley RJ with the impossibility of the numbers that we're going to have. There's BNB, and I know that BNB has a lot. They have a lot less than 500 nodes, right, Nacho?
Say that. Sorry, I wasn't paying.
Does BNB have less? BNB has less than 500 nodes, right?
Yeah, well, they have what 21 that are they have 21 nodes, and basically it's the richest people are the 21 nodes.
Right, and so the reason why I'm bringing that up is because what they're getting, those guys are in the neighborhood of $50,000 a day. Every day that goes by, that's how much that they're getting. So when the calculator came out, and we ran it, and we ran high numbers, we went to the high side. Even on the high side, we were getting that $675. That was the high side. Does that sound? And if you were to take 21 and divide it, or 500 and divide it by 500, it to me that feels like it sounds about right. Like on the high side, those guys are getting $50,000 a day, maybe even more.
Remember
now, but
the 500.
Go ahead.
Yeah, remember the 500 don't all get to qualify at the same time for that pool, right? There's going to be the light nodes. What the light nodes do is they vote in every epoch. Let's say I think it's going to be 25 as our our selected nodes. So each epoch, the light nodes will vote in 25 full nodes to go through and be able to participate on the thing. So those 25 full nodes will get to split that pool, that gas pool for that epoch. And then the next epoch, another set of 25 would be picked by the light nodes, and then they get to be part of that. So almost like a round robin kind of thing, right? So there would never be really a time when all 500 are pulling from that pool. If that happens, that's like, wow.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I'm just talking about.
I think you want to go around trying to find those other full node owners and try to unplug their nodes. Just go, I don't know what happened. You kick a plug or something like that.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the amount of money that they're going to be producing. To me, it's not this crazy exorbitant amount to say $650 a day is what you could possibly make from the nodes, the full nodes. I just. Like I know that people look at that and they're like, that just seems too much now because of the reconstruction of how this is going to operate. It's not. You guys have to remember that because of this is going to make a gigantic, huge, enormous difference in price. It's not going to be $9 anymore when we release. We're only going to have 58 million. It's never going to really move from there. And if it does, it just does by a little bit. And the only other thing that could possibly happen is that we start to, the larger the fire pit grows, the more it burns every day. And then we start to, I'm talking years down the road. He said it's going to take 16 years, 21 years. When we're like in year 15 and 16, that's when you're going to start to see some really rapid decline because of the fire pit being so big that even 0.12% fixed is going to add a lot every single day to it.
I think, again, there's not financial advice. And I know that doesn't protect shit because I know what Kardashian, didn't they? Anyways, So just set your sights over the next 12 months. What we have to do is be able to figure out, okay, great. What the costs are, what the revenue generation are for the nodes and all that stuff with the new tokenomics. You know, we'll get the calculators out so people start looking at that. But then it's also looking at that strategy, what you're going to do to essentially get the to operate during the next 12 months. Because like I said, at least to me, once we get to that 12th month, I'm looking at a bull market starting up, and that becomes another economic situation, which is pretty good. And that's where you start hitting what you're talking about in terms of price appreciation. Because if BTC starts rising, it's, you know, the rising tide raises all ships, right?
Yes.
This is going to be a key event that will go and take us and do that hockey puck, that hockey stick thing, right? So really, instead of figuring out for the next 16 years or whatever, just start looking at, okay, great, the strategies over the next 12 months, okay? In terms of, you know, when you want to ask your questions, it's looking at that, you know, is looking at what the blockchain is going to do to bring in holders, what we're looking at the first 3 months, then the 6 months, and up to that year. Because again, once we get into that bull market, you know, it's a different story, and we should be looking at the evaluation of, okay, great, now we're looking at more of the price appreciation and how does that all kind of work and stuff like that. So, you know, that's to me, and again, that's my personal thing, because I'm so you know, focused on the idea that the halving event is going to move things. It's going to move mountains, and again,
Yes.
leading into that, the next 12 months really is for us to build, to grow, to evolve, learn some lessons, because by the time we get to the end of the 12 months, it's showtime. They open the curtains. It's like, okay, great. We got a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of craziness, and we could already be there, already prepared. We've gone through our bumps and scrapes and all that stuff, and now, hey, we're set. We're ready for all the new people who are going crypto. What is this? This is crazy. All I know is everybody's just making money. I want to jump in, and then we can have this ecosystem of all our projects and this blockchain that is the first rebasing blockchain, along with who knows what kind of projects that will be able to not only have but grow and evolve by that time. That we can have a great, exciting, unique offering for all these new people. So it's like, wow, you know, so that's another one to think about. That could be exciting.
One of the things that I want everybody to understand, because not just talking about growing, he's talking about the growth of the blockchain, meaning all the projects that are going to continue to come on and everything else. But that also means us too. Like we have to take this opportunity now to grow, right? And what that means is, with all that's going on, like if anybody sells like 50% or more of their bag on day one, well then, you know what? Good riddance, you're an idiot. Like this is going to be worth a lot of money per Vulcan, even on day one, week one. It's just going to do that, right? And then as time goes by, with all the projects that come on and all these different problems start getting solved, it's just going to grow in value. And because we have such a low amount in circulation, you can expect it to. Like this is just the way. Like I'm not saying this because I'm hoping that it's happened. We're looking at it happen over and over and over again. Binance has the same amount, about 140 million in circulation. Go ahead, Greg.
Let me put it this way. Before, if you sold 50% of your bag, 34 days from now, you'd have the same bag as you sold. Now, if you want to sell 50% of your bag, you really have to think it through, because it's going to take a whole year to get to the same point where you sold. So that's the difference in why this rebasing mechanism, it also takes away downward pressure, as people can't just sell and be like, oh, a month from now I'll have the same amount and then I can just keep selling. You can't do that. So you got to be more planned with your sells now, and it's going to be great.
And our legend, everybody looks up to as far as one of the node holders, because he has so many, and he would even buy a ninth one. And I'm 100% with you. I have two, but I mean, if I could get a third one, I would, because I think that, Lead knows that I love him so much. Him and Greek are like, they're my guys. Every day we talk, but I think that
Aren't you guys
Lead,
drinking
I think that
buddies?
you have a little bit. I think you're worried about something that's not really there to worry about. We're going to make a lot of money on these notes.
I wouldn't.
I could help.
Until we
I
get
could help
info.
by looking through the stuff and report back and say, hey, here's what I found and all that stuff. But we're moving forward. We have new tokenomics. We have to be thinking about new strategies as, let's say, whether you're a regular holder or node holder, of now how to work with the new tokenomics. Sure, there was stuff in the past. Okay, great. I was looking at trying to a while back. I was looking at trying to take all my crypto and put it into Anchor because I thought that'd be awesome. It's so stable. I get 20%. I'm just going to go and do that. And well, what happened in May wasn't so good, right? Things change. And what you have to do is you have to take a look at, okay, great. Things change. I still want to make my nut. How can I do that now? Let's start taking a look at what the opportunities are.
Easy, bro. Come on now. This is you know what I mean?
Hey, still wants to make his.
Like with this sexual talk, Nacho. What are you doing, bro?
Oh, sorry. My nut.
Princess, give me my nut. Give me my nut.
I really want my nut, so I'm gonna try.
Hey, when you unleash the nacho, maybe this is what you get. Huh? How easy?
Prada loves blue. I'll tell you the reason why I love the color blue, especially the color blue that I wear. It's what Superman wears. That's right. So, don't get it twisted. This is a family show, Nacho, says Mrs. Worldwide.
I'm sorry.
I'm really looking forward to getting my nuts.
Let me tell you about something.
I want my nuts and I want them now.
No, see, I didn't make it plural. Actually, in the old days, I'm one of the old guys.
Yeah,
in
you should have said nuts. It would have sounded better. You're right.
No. Yeah, if I said it plural, that would have been something else. I just said singular. So, as one of the old guys, that's how they used to talk about your bag.
Yeah.
How about that?
Antonio Dates, thanks for the super sticker, bro. I appreciate you. You always are helping out and supporting the channel. I wish there were more Antonio Dates, for crying out loud. There goes Chat to Hammer. Speaking of being inappropriate, there goes Chaz Hammer. Yep, raids reverse and Bitcoin halving. Yeah, that's going to. We have a lot to look forward to in the coming year. Because we're setting. I think, Nacho, that we're gonna. I think you're right in that we start to see the beginning of the bull run 12 months before. Or what did you say? 6 to 12 months before the halving. Well, guess where we are right now, everybody? We're 12 months before. He just said it, and I've been saying that we're not going to go into the bull market in 2024. I just have not. I've been one that's like, it's not going to take that long. We're going to get into it this year. Sometime this year is when we start to go into the bull market. And I hope.
Yeah, it doesn't wait for the halving. We start building into the halving. It doesn't just the halving, then all of a sudden there's a bull market. No, that's
what I've been saying, brother.
So once that happens, you've got like a great at least 12 months of pure money making when that bull market happens, and then it trails off. But you've got a great section there. So what's great again is that we have so much time warning. So now's the time to really take a look and start figuring out what you're doing, what you're participating in, and how that could grow and how you can grow with that. Here's the thing that I think I would encourage everybody to do who's part of Vol. Think about how you could be an entrepreneur, a crypto entrepreneur on Vol. What kind of project can you make? What kind of project can you be involved in? Maybe you don't have to do it all yourself. Look for a project, be involved with that, because when we get to that 12 months, you want something that you could offer at these new people coming in. Maybe they're going to get on your thing, and all of a sudden you're sitting there with cigars and sitting on your own private island somewhere.
Yeah. me and Greek.
Think about being beyond just a holder. think
Me and
about how
Greek and you, me, you, and
know,
Greek can be on a beach like the Tate brothers, smoking cigars, brother, with our built bodies. That's what we're gonna be.
there you go.
I
Mrs.
wouldn't say
Worldwide
built.
No,
also
it's
loves blue.
but
That's another reason why Hendrik, because she loves blue. It's my favorite color is green. That's why you can see the theme of my channel has always been green, and it will continue to. But also, thanks for your super sticker as well. I really do appreciate it. Or this is I think this is a super chat that you just didn't fill in. But thank you for that, Hendrik. I really appreciate it, bro. Mrs. Worldwide is. I thought she was opening the door, but yeah, she's a big part of it. There goes Bryan Legend, everybody. He likes collecting nuts also. like a squirrel. So there goes Bryan. Bryan, if you just start watching, I don't know if you heard some of the concerns earlier about that calculator and how it was calculated. And now we have some people that are sorry, my phone started. We had some people that are concerned, especially Lead. He brought it up. I put it out to you, and you said, yeah, it's always been about the gas fees. That's fine, and I I understand that. I was under that impression also, but now there's a question as to whether or not that calculator, when you slid it, was it including fees? Because apparently at the beginning, sometime during the very, very, very beginning of this, there was a mention that we were going to be collecting some of the taxes as far as note holders. Now, again, I've never thought this, but was that in fact a part of it when we did that calculator, Bryan? When we did that, was that including that we were going to be collecting from taxes as well? I don't think it was. I think it was what it said on the calculator. It said that we were going to be, this is how much you get from the fees that day, and this is how much you will be collecting based on the rebates that you got that day, and it totals this amount based on this amount of volume. That's the only thing it said on the calculator, so I don't know why there's confusion. But even still, in those two things that like the rebases and the fees, were any of those including also money or Vulcan that we were getting from the taxes? Was that the way it was, Bryan? Because since I know you're watching now, maybe because I'm sure you probably weren't at the beginning because you were busy, but things change. A lot has changed over the past 6 months. Prior to the original node calculations, nodes never got a percentage of taxes. Never. The way a blockchain consensus is achieved is through gas fees only. That's right. That's what I was saying. And so I hope that that alleviates node holders, but especially my guy, Lead. I don't want, because he's like, he's not happy about this at all, Greek, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
he was pissed.
their whole concern is the slider, that they're saying that those numbers based on just gas fees alone are unattainable, because
But they're not
basic,
that
but they're saying according to the calculations on the back end that's how you get to those numbers that the sliders produce. So the slider's telling you wrong information. Now maybe that's what they're claiming. I haven't looked at all this. I haven't even done the math, so I can't really say if it's right or not. I don't know. I just want to make sure it's the calculator that was on the website when you slid that. Is that an accurate portrayal of what we can expect for node revenue? If that's the case, then that's what I got to go off of, and that's the only answer I'm looking for.
DLD is saying no to me over and over again. He's saying no, Daniel, no, Daniel.
Now you're being greedy. I don't
know what I'm being greedy about. What am I being greedy? Am I being greedy about something that I'm not aware of?
Well, unless he thinks you're being greedy by comparing it to Ethereum, saying we're better than Ethereum, but we already know that, so I don't know how that's greedy. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not being greedy. DLD. Maybe he's like me, because when I was watching Bryan, everybody, I was lagging way behind, because when Bryan said something that I wanted to hear again, I rewind live on the air and then I continue. So you see me like typing stuff and react. Yeah, sometimes I react to things and you guys are like, man, he talked about that 10 minutes ago. Well, that's the reason why.
You sent me the super chat. You're like, I just asked Bryan this. And then I'm like, he's already answering your super chat. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah. So, but maybe that's what DLD Crypto is talking about. But if you want to go ahead and be a little bit more specific about what you're talking about, because Bryan says, even look at version 1.8 of the safuu X Lite paper, it also originally stated notes only for 88% of tax. Sorry, keeps running. I'm gonna have to leave you guys to the stream after I'm finished this comment because I have to call her back. She keeps on calling me. That's the woman who does my scheduling. It also stated that no, only for 88% of gas fees and 12% was given back to holders, but that since was changed that nodes get 100% of all gas. So it's even better now. I'll be right back, guys. But can you guys talk about that with Bryan and everybody else?
So I never even knew about the only 12% part. That's new information.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that Bryan's right. I mean, a lot of the information when the node stuff first came out, I think we're talking about like June, July, and things have changed. And again, sure, we could take a look at, the consistency and things, but really the things evolve in terms of what the tokenomics, in terms of, again, how things get back tested to see how they work for different scenarios, and they get adjusted. That's a good thing. If we didn't do that and we just made our initial assumption and stuck with it, that's not good. You want to be able to be able to keep up with everything, and as new information comes up, be able to see, okay, maybe we make some decisions off of that. Maybe we could do some mitigation, things like that. So the fact that the team is actually going through and constantly looking at the protocol and looking at different scenarios, paying attention to Discord and Twitter, and a lot of the things that are coming up. This is great. This is very good. Nobody's asleep at the wheel. That's definitely for sure. Okay, nobody is asleep at the wheel. It's active.
So this is what everybody just wants. A simple answer to this. So was the DEP slider correct? If that's the case, then nobody's going to have any more complaints. I just don't like when stuff like this happens and then, it goes spread in the community and everybody's like, well, what's the case? What's the case? And then you get the game of telephone going on. And so I just want accurate information. Obviously, according to what I take from Bryan's answer is, yes, the DEP slider is correct, or at least roughly correct in the vicinity. And this is part of the problem. So Spudley RJ, still waiting to see how 100 million volume gives each full node 650. Don't talk about Rebase. We know that is lower. Yeah, that was what the slider said for 100 million in volume, and that's not including rebases. So if all I can say is what they're saying, I can't go off of anything else. According to that, what I'm taking is Bryan saying that is correct as of the moment until I hear otherwise.
Hello, guys. Sorry about that. I had to call her back. You guys know I work the morning show, so I have to be there at 2 a.m. usually. Somebody called out, and there's nobody else that can come in tonight. So she needs me to come in and work a 2 p.m. shift, which means that I'm not going to get done until like freaking 12 midnight tonight, which I hate. But all right, I am going to go into work, but that's not for another couple hours. But did you guys get to this one?
No.
I'm interested in some answers.
No.
Why Bryan Legend stepped down as CEO? If it's a personal decision, I can already answer this. I'll go on with the question. But it's a crew now. There's 4 of them. They're all the owners. They're all the CEO. So I pass, but 4 co-founders are now calling the shots. Didn't hear a blockchain will be on time delivered as expected. Yeah, well, that was what the expectation was, and it was. But then they made all these changes. They rebranded this, that, and the third. There's also the hackathon that got extended to February 20th. There's going to be more time needed for testnet to operate so that things can be tested and everything else. So they've extended it out to March 1st. It's not the end of the world, and it's not like it's unheard of. Things needed to be redone. Okay.
Also, remember on the AMA, Brian's AMA, he mentioned that one of the big goals is to make sure that the blockchain that gets delivered is solid. It's not
Yes.
something that's going to have like exploits and things like that. So the thing is that the team will be going through and looking at that, doing that, and making sure. And if it means that we have to do more testing, extra testing, and that does something with the schedule, that's probably a good decision to make, because why rush something out there or put something out there if it might have some it hasn't been tested on something that could be exploited. You don't want to do that. This is we're talking about the blockchain. We don't want to have that. So
Yeah.
I think as we keep going, you'll get more information about how we're progressing, how the team's progressing on the blockchain and doing the various tests and things like that. So I think that's something to keep in mind. That's what Bryan mentioned, and that is a good thing to do. We want to make sure that the priority isn't on, this date is the sole thing. No, the goal of a blockchain isn't to hit a date. The goal of a blockchain is to come out and work and be secure. Okay, let's not confuse what is the goal of the blockchain.
Gracie says, glad to move on. The whole
We're not
project
making a
is
calendar,
changed.
man.
If they don't like things, I'm sure they can just sell their nodes and someone will buy them. Just move on. Sorry about that, Gracie, but it is a concern to people. And also, Bryan had just come on, so he addressed it. It is, in fact, never included. God damn it. Bro. So it never included the gas. It never included the taxes. So but there are node holders that were concerned about that. So I needed to address it. Let me see. There goes what is this? Vagilis Leandris says everybody calculate and speculates as if blockchain is in mainnet. Truth is, most of the old holders have nothing except potential nodes, coins, etc. Everything is all potential, but that's what makes it interesting, right? Like, we're talking about that potential. I mean, we can't talk about anything in reality because nothing has turned on. So yeah, of course, it is somehow one of our sponsors got put up here, but let me see.
Our sponsors up.
Oh, and by the way, DLD Crypto was not talking to me when he was telling me to stop being greedy. So thank you, bro. I'm so glad. I don't know who you're talking
there you
to. Yeah.
Now I can call you greedy. Hey, you're being greedy.
Yeah.
You're greedy with blue. Blue is your greed.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide's favorite color, and also Superman wears it. So, since
Yeah.
I'm almost Superman, like, why not? You know what I mean? Okay. I'm not as tall as Superman, though. I'm a midget, remember?
Yeah, not as good looking either.
That's true.
Did he just call you not as good looking as Superman? Is that what Greek said?
Yes, that's what Greek put it out there for everyone to see.
Well, hell, I'll even say it. I'm not as good looking as Superman. Okay.
Only Superman can reverse time, Prado Man says, Wavem Studios. That's true. I'm not going to try to reverse time, though, but I wish that we could speed up time so that we can get to the blockchain opening. That would be really awesome. But one of these days, very soon, March 1st being the one. This is for Adam, what, bro? Like, talking about blockchain might not I guess come, everyone. Remember,
a meteor
can't trust
an asteroid can show up and take out the world.
Yeah, everybody goes to this.
My phone just got another call. Everybody, it's like they're all watching me and calling. Like, what's going on here? It was somebody.
How can we mess up Prado because he's getting crazy?
Yeah. That's what it is, Adam. I disagree with you. It's going to happen. That's what we're all here for. Jason Hayes, you don't hate when work gets in the way of these live streams. I'll have to catch up later. Thank you for the post game. No problem. Yeah, I hate when my phone.
I'm working right
Dude,
now
it's about
on the live
priorities,
stream.
right?
So if you see me looking,
You know, work
looking to the
is
side,
like a third, fifth, 10th priority.
Right now,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I'm working and live streaming, so this is great. So you're seeing me look off camera. That's why, just so people.
Yeah,
There you go.
sometimes I'm able to do that too. So, but
Well, lucky you guys. See, the reason why you can't see me is because I'm like kind of hanging out in bed. I'm not working
Yeah.
right now. It's
No
a different
problem.
time of the hour for me. So you know, there you go.
Oh, so Adam's just messing around with us. He said, "Sorry, man, just messing." Yeah. All right. I thought you were one of the haters because we get the haters that come in there all the time. So it's okay. If you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. Volume 30x in 1 month. Super bullish. Super bullish. Let's effing go, says Byrendra. So yeah, I don't see that being something that's impossible. Also, what's 30 times 9? Like 39, something like that.
270.
Oh no, yes, so, right. I totally
270,000.
was
270. 270.
Yeah.
270. So that's along with what Compton thinks. Yeah,
Look at that.
270. That's
Even in
right.
bed, I could
3 times
calculate.
9. Yeah, I was off. Chad's Hammer says, "Thanks to all the YouTubers for hosting live videos and helping spread the info. Let's turn that gold to diamonds or platinum or whatever." Bryan said. Yeah, he was talking about which one was more valuable. But yeah, we're also here as YouTubers. Nacho is a YouTuber.
What should be more valuable?
Really,
It should be Vol.
yeah, we're here trying to
what
do
should be
what we
more
can
valuable.
to address
How about
yesterday in Leeds live shot. Kryptonian specifically was talking about, I'm sorry, not Kryptonian. The Cipher himself was on there, and he said that he wanted to. He had mentioned that he saw in the comments someone talking about how the, people criticizing. That was me. I'm the one who was saying it. I love how people in Discord are, talking about the YouTubers and how we flip flopped as if because we were saying how great it was, and now we're saying, oh, it's not that great, everybody. The reason why is because we have to roll with the punches. When we were rebasing, or it was supposed to be a rebasing thing, right, Greek? This was we were talking about all the positives. What are we going to do? Come on here and talk about all the horrible things that could possibly happen? Yes, we did that, but mostly what we talk about was the positive because that's what we had in front of us. That was what was going to happen. But Greek,
We can only go.
So what are we going to do? Go back and say, Bryan, how come it's not rebasing anymore? We want that still. Like, we're not going to do that.
That's the tough part. People are like, well, why is Bryan changing the game so late in the game? And I'm like, it's better for us. But still, as a YouTuber, you should call him out. I'm like, so call him out for something I agree that's better? I had this comment. And people are like, Greek, why aren't you calling people out? We don't want the news. We want your opinion on everything. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I had my doubts, my concerns with the rebasing mechanism. I always thought it was kind of high. I always thought that. But then again, there's still ways to make money. And in the end of the day, we're in this to make money. There's still ways if you know the system. Now the game's changed for the better. I like it better. And I have to pivot with the new information. Everything's changing. This is DeFi. Until that blockchain's released and set in stone, everything is viable to change. So stop.
And if it does, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about the positive. The positive.
Do you know what I did? Do you know what I did? I had printouts upon printouts on the old rebasing mechanisms. I had graphs made for myself. What I did, he changed it. All right, plug in the new numbers from this date on. Let's make new graphs, new printouts. So now I can be in the know. You have to adjust. Now, a lot of people were angry because the price hasn't gone down yet. So that's why taking away these high rebases is making them angry, is because the price hasn't gone down yet. They're just viewing, at $9. And if you slide the thing over to July 20th, I'll have 259,000 coins. And if the price is $5, they're all doing that because they haven't realized it. I can assure you the price would not have been $5. As much as I want to come out and say the price would have been $5, the market cap would have been ridiculous. It would not have been possible. Maybe 40 cents would have been a success at that point. Maybe. Okay? But there still doesn't mean you can't make money along the way. And that's why I want people to like, I'm in this to make money. So I wasn't going to diss it because that was what we had. And if I spread any sort of huge panic or fear some people won't take what I say truly, and they'll be like, well, the Greek's saying it's going to be 40. That when I even said it was going down to 21 cents and that equals what you started at upon mainnet launch, people were like, the Greek says it's going to 21 cents. I never said that. I said that's what the number is to still be in profit from your day one price come July. And people took that and run. So it always happens. Plus, I have a responsibility to the community that if I show fears, show this stuff, people take it and run with it and go wild. So a lot of it I have to temper, and I try to give the news as objectively as possible. But I'm very bullish on these new changes. I will say this 100 and 1,000,000,000%. These are great for everybody. It was a gift from above. I was jumping in wherever I was. I was in a car driving, and I was jumping, going crazy because of these changes.
Yeah, Laughing me too, Greek. I love the changes when they came out. Laughing Coffin says Vulcan seems to be a copy of Kyoto protocol,
No.
which is a rebasing token that has a
No.
major backing. That actually is not true. That is a copy of the safuu protocol.
No. You know why? You can take a look at the code. The original contract is forked from safuu.
See, Laughing. So I mean, I understand it. I know that when people are just coming in, or they just heard about it, or whatever, or they're a fan of something else, like you got to understand, Laughing, that this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Kyoto Protocol. I'm sure it's a fine project. They're also going to try to become a blockchain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
But they got their entire setup from Bryan and the safuu protocol. And here's the other thing too. Whatever they were planning to do with their blockchain, you could best believe that they're probably going to change it so that their blockchain is exactly like Vulcan when they do it. They're doing everything the same thing that Bryan's doing. And that's not that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because we've all learned a lot of things in our life we could do a lot easier if we could just copy someone else that's already successful doing what it is that you want to do, right? If they're being super successful, why not do that? So if they're going to come up with something like a new blockchain like this one, well then they're going to most likely do the same thing. But their entire protocol was safuu, same thing. Unfortunately, invested in a project called AirFi in their pre-sale about 1.6 or so BNB nearly 2 months ago, but I have come to realize it's probably a bloody scam. They're doing never-ending pre-sale. Oh man, that sucks, bro. Sorry that happened to you, brother. I thought you had a question too, man. You said that you wanted to ask a question, but I didn't see it, unless that was a question. But let's start to wrap this up, guys. Nacho, your thoughts about just quickly, like 10, 20 seconds of what today's event was all about, how you thought about it. Bryan coming out and talking to everybody, taking questions. Nacho.
I think it's great. I think it's something that the community wanted. Yeah, can you hear me? You guys hear me, right?
We can hear you.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I think it was great. I think there was a lot of changes, and the community was really interested in being able to hear, straight from the source, what is going on, and be able to ask questions. I think Bryan was able to do that, and he took the time. He said, "Okay, I'm not going to put a cap or limit. We're going to keep talking until there are no more questions." And it was great. It felt like back in the old days. When we had those AMAs, which were like fireside chats, So I think it was great, and I think it answered a lot of questions. A lot of people to really, feel like they could get their head around things. So yeah, I think it went good.
Greek.
I loved hearing from Bryan. It's always good hearing from Bryan. It just seems like it calms the community. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it brings more questions. But this one, just hearing his thoughts and reasons and hearing it out of his mouth that he's no longer technically the CEO, it's the 4 founders. We've been explaining that to people, but some people are like, why is it that, they didn't get it? So hearing it out of his mouth, we're all going to make it, as I've always said. I love the new changes. I can't wait for what's in store. One thing I will say though is, with what's come of this node stuff, just don't make rash decisions until we have the final information, and don't go spreading misinformation or spreading information until we know the final information, because all you're doing is causing panic and chaos for stuff. And you know what? It might be a valid point what they brought up, and once it's looked into further, we might figure it out. But I don't know, and I don't want to spread craziness. So let's just get the final information. Either way, the blockchain's going to the moon.
Yeah, I think that it's a great thing. I'm glad that he came out. It did feel like the old days, like Nacho said. He answered a lot of questions. And then during this live, we got more node concerns out of the way as well, so that those node holders can feel a little bit better. It actually is still basically the same that it was. There's nothing that's changed despite the concerns. So that's it for us, everybody. Greek, Nacho, thanks. We'll see everybody next time.
Hey.